Another night of ESL Pro League is upon us, and that is the waiting stream. But we've actually started. We're back. Yes, this is going to be the last night of Pro League for this week, and I think the general consensus of this evening is kind of, how the hell do we top the show we put on during Denim Day?
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
I did read a, well, no, you read the Reddit,
that was
the
a
Reddit
good thing.
comment saying...
you use very professional broadcast, very buttoned up.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we can,
we can certainly shake things up in the future.
Deliver the highest standard.
Yeah. Well, I do have Henry, I do have Chad, obviously. Just hanging out. How's everyone doing? Good?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Coming to the end of the week. It's always...
You guys have gone casual Thursday. Jason's gone the farmer. You've gone the Friday night polo.
I don't know where the farmer came from.
Sounds a bit like bullying, if you ask me.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit like bullying. Either way, we'll get off the aggressiveness of Chad, and we'll go straight over to the standings. In case you guys weren't tuned into the NA broadcast in the E1 yesterday, this is NA. Not much has changed really as we've gone over every night. Any surprises there at the bottom, guys? You know, anyone missing from the playoffs that you think would be in it?
Nope.
I guess CLG, after their performance in Star Ladder, you'd expect them to be doing better in this particular league. They looked very good there. Obviously, haven't had that lineup for the entirety of this league so far, but I'm sure they can maybe bounce back and sneak in the top 6.
Yeah, I think the top 6 looks pretty solid. I guess the biggest surprise up there would be NRG in that 4th place. But I mean, regardless, I don't think you can argue too much, but top 6 doesn't look bad here.
I think if Luminosity or CLG takes that NRG spot, that top 6 is the one that you'd probably want to have going into the finals. Yeah,
probably with CLG's recent performance. This is the European standings, obviously, and this one's been in a bit of upheaval. We saw last night, obviously. I mean, G2 rose from 13th to 6th, I think it was, at the end of last night. That's pretty intense of a jump. And HellRaisers in there in the top 5. We're going to see them tonight. They also had a very good performance in Star Ladder. Yeah,
definitely. Henry was there with you, so this is where I direct the analysis when we do these segments to you guys.
I forgot about that.
No, you know, this team has kind of been a sleeper squad, right? They've been chugging along. They've had some up and down results, but then at that LAN event, it looked like they had everything together. You could look at a few different factors. They kind of are going to need a repeat performance, you know, going down the line, but they have a good brand of Counter-Strike, and I think the way that Angel plays as an in-game leader, I like his style. Yeah, they've looked pretty impressive, and we can throw up today's schedule so you guys know what to look forward to. Because these first matches, we're obviously going to see this HellRaisers that has kind of snuck their way to be a very dangerous squad. They're taking on Fnatic, who's looking a little bit resurgent, and then North versus FaZe. That'll be a really cool matchup down the evening. Over on the B stream, we have some of the legends of Counter-Strike, Virtus Pro and NIP, but both teams in a downturn right now. Yeah, getting relegated to the B stream, saying, you know what? After some of these performances we've seen, maybe take a step back. Yeah, we thought Virtus Pro would bounce back after Star Ladder, maybe show some good results coming back into the Pro League, but it looks... Boy, did they go the other way, didn't they? Yeah, they kept on that slump status. So it's you hate to see it, but maybe it's a good thing for them to kind of recalibrate and work out what the problems are and kind of get in the right direction. Yeah, what was the other matchup on the B stream? It's Mouse Sports, I think, for someone. I couldn't remember what I saw. It did flash up there for about 30 seconds. I should have. Yeah. G2. Should have taken a gander. G2? Yeah. Okay. First Mouse Sports. Yeah, I have some really important news. Go on. Yeah. As of this current state in time, I am top of the Fantasy League. Just by laugh, 1 point. All right, that's not bad. That's a solid lead. Hold on to that one. Cling to it for dear life. We're going to see what Mitch has to say. He's waiting for us over there.
Thank you, Moses, and welcome everybody again to another play day here at the ESL Pro League. As always, I instruct you to head over to our social media platforms at facebook.com/ESLCS and at ESLCS on Twitter. We also want to make you aware of our Pay Safe Card fan vote that's ongoing, where you can vote for your favorite player of the month. Last month, Spiro was voted by the community as their favorite, but if you want to have your say recorded, then go over there and vote. All the details are below. In the meantime, North have joined the ranks of Fnatic by recruiting their own academy team. This team is going to be coached by Ave, with Loma as their captain, with the goal of nurturing new talent for the future of the game. And we'll be looking forward to see what sort of amazing new talent will be coming out of it. In the Mountain Dew League news, however, Big and Godsent will be facing off in the final of the tournament, with the winner getting a slot in the EU Pro League. The loser will fight together with either Penta Sports or Team Spirit for the remaining 2 slots that will be decided through the relegation process in the CSGO Pro League here at ESL. Head over to esca.net/MDL for more details. And finally, we always get you guys to send in our clips on your community play, so let's see what we have for this week.
Well, I have an idea of what next week's community plays are going to be. There's going to be a lot of Negevs in them because that's right. The Negevs, the R8s, they're back, baby. They're back.
Weird, isn't it?
It's kind of
a strange turn of events. If I'm honest. Where did that come from?
What game do Valve think we're playing?
I don't know, but I just want to do a callback to what, like 3 weeks ago when I said, you know, if you had to use the Negev in some kind of a situation, how would you use it? Now we have all these beautiful Reddit clips.
Yeah.
That.
To be fair, I tested it out today, right? And they've kind of adjusted it so when you have it equipped, when you have it out like you have it on here, you're kind of walking through sludge. It's so slow, and the first 17 bullets are so erratic. You have to kind of warm it up like a minigun. You have to like build it up, but then you get some accuracy. So it's not exactly viable, in my opinion. I used it a few times. It just seemed like a mess.
Well, obviously the big thing is, I mean, the big announcement from ESL side of things was that it is disallowed in the ESL Pro League. So we will not be seeing it tonight, and the reason for that is obviously it's $2,000. Valve came out and said we're going to make it low money because we want people to experiment. We want to see what
Isn't that why we have the beta client now?
Yeah, but no one plays that, Henry. To be fair, you know, who's going to load up the beta client? You can't play ESEA games on the beta client, can you?
And to finish my point really quickly as well, the decision we made, the ESL Pro League is not the place for experimentation. So we're not.
And there's Easter bunnies now in form of chickens who lay eggs.
Do they really?
Yep.
But
do you get anything in the eggs?
What do you think about
this is a great clip. This is an Opera facing off against the new Negev. He's just, there's the warm-up, a little bit accurate, and then he just slowly crouches around the corner, gets a couple body shots, gets a little aim punch through the wall, and then it's an easy cleanup. The Op never sees him.
So the way that I saw people using it was they were kind of pre-shooting to go through those first 18 bullets and then come around the corner with the laser beam accuracy.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Negev, I didn't even think was that bad of a weapon beforehand. The price point and the fact we're playing a game which is tactical and, you know, things have to make sense, it just was never viable for competitive play. You could use it before and like tap with it long range, and it wasn't a bad gun. It just, you would never buy it when you have an M4.
Yeah.
Well, just the fact that, well, you know who actually used to buy that in a serious fashion is Elise from Team Liquid. When he had the money, he would pick that up, and he's had a couple really good. No, that's the thing. Everyone thought it was an accident, but it was no accident. Here's some tweets. Obviously, the Team Liquid account oh yeah, they did allow the Negev for I think it was just 1 or 2 games last night in the NA side of things. I don't know how it went. Bondic obviously still saying he would prefer the UMP for 1200. Maybe just alluding to how overpowered that weapon is.
Valve.
We got a lot of question marks from the pro.
I read it like 2 a.m. last night. I was like, is this like, am I dreaming right now? Is this real life?
Yeah,
like
we were kind of questioning it pretty late.
Yeah.
The things we do late at night, questioning Valve decisions.
Yeah.
I was watching Luminosity versus Rush to see how they were going.
Yeah.
I wasn't really too fazed by the update.
Yeah. How did that game go? Good?
They won both maps.
Luminosity?
My boys.
Nice. Congratulations. You have those 2 guys on your team.
Yeah.
But just to reiterate, it will not be used in ESL Pro League, so we will not be seeing it tonight. I don't believe it'll be, pretty sure from now on it'll be disallowed in the North American side of things as well. With all that good stuff out of the way, we can move on to the matchup. HellRaisers taking on Fnatic, the team that's come out of nowhere, and the team that, you know, was a little quiet for a while, heating back up.
Yeah, absolutely. HellRaisers are star ladder. I don't think anyone expected them to make it to the playoffs and knock North out in a best of 3 as well. It was actually really cool from them. They've always played like good Counter-Strike, and the thing is whether the big names turn up, let's say like Dead Fox or Sticko, Zero, if those guys arrive, they can actually go toe-to-toe with some of the best. And they showed that at Star Ladder, good basic Counter-Strike really, and then Dead Fox had a really good tournament as well. That's all they're looking for. They managed to actually get some big upsets there. Like, it wasn't super deep in the tournament. The fact they get like the semi-finals actually kind of sick.
Well, I mean, that was a big question going into this event, right? Because I remember having the conversation on this very desk, because it's just like, is this HellRaisers team? Are they for real? Because they're starting to win some of those qualifiers to get to Star Ladder, some of those matches over there to even get to the LAN. And we were just like, you know, is this for real? Is this team actually is this gonna be a thing now? Are they gonna be considered a contending team? And the general consensus was like, we just have to wait for LAN. Well, they've shown it now. Are they going to stick around, Chad? I
think, you know, the next LAN event is going to be the big one to really show if they are going to stick around or not, because you're not going to do a whole heap of homework on a team like HellRaisers, right, when you have all the other big dogs to worry about. That's no disrespect to them. That's just, you know, you have your priorities as a team and you have to look at ones that you think are going to be bigger threats. And they probably didn't think HellRaisers were going to be one of those squads. Going into this, Fnatic are definitely going to have to take stock, and Jumpy's going to have to do a lot of work to find out how HellRaisers play and how his players can work around that, because we haven't seen good things from Fnatic on this map, whereas HellRaisers, this is one of their favorites, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, Henry, now, I mean, this Fnatic team, we saw them the other night, I believe, and I mean, I know they tweeted out, we just can't seem to win 2 in a row. I mean, what is up with this team? Because we keep saying they're back, but they don't really always show that they're back. And
it was weird. They played against Heroic the other night, and they had won the first map pretty comfortably on train. Then they moved over to Cobblestone, and they didn't seem to arrive whatsoever. It was like their economy was completely ruined throughout it, and they tried to roll back some of the old ideas, like the fact they put their sword-off shotgun on the T side of Cobble, trying to make that happen again. Hasn't seemed to be a thing since like 2015, to be fair, but they gave it a go. Didn't seem to work out for them at all. And yeah, you can see the tweets there. 1-1 again for them. So they keep splitting series. The first map always looked really good, and then they kind of drop off. It's really interesting to see how they're kind of still getting themselves back together. I think it's promising, especially at Starladder. We saw them have some big results in terms of like just great aiming overall. All of Meister starting to hit some really crispy AK shots across the board, and his teammate JW, he's actually finding that old kind of playstyle once again. The fact he's like so dynamic and almost throws the rulebook of CS away. That's actually promising to see that coming back. Although it's a weird thing to watch.
CS too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The three of them, that's always powerful. Flusher, obviously, he's a
Flusher's a quiet tournament for him.
Yeah.
So that's,
yeah. But I think, like, as the in-game leader and stuff like that, he always has, I don't know, probably adjust his playstyle the most, you know, to fit different roles and what's going on. So to see him not performing well isn't great, because he's one of the best major performers I think we've ever had in the history of the game,
statistically,
right? Yeah. He's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, now I mean, I'm just kind of wondering back and forth, like, which Fnatic are we going to get? Is it just kind of, is it literally just something where it's like the aim is like kind of what they just draw their power from?
That's always been their playstyle though. Like even when they're the very best team in the world, everyone heralded Pronax is the best in-game leader of all time. But you have to think he also had all of Meister in the best form of his career at that point in that particular peak. So it wasn't necessarily down to the sick tactics of doing it. It's like maps like Cbble sending all of Meister to the upper platform and B when they're like 4 rounds down and he just find 2 or 3 headshots. That's not a sick tactic. That's just them clutching at straws thinking, do you want to go find some kills? Yeah. And that was obviously having a lot of impact in terms of their victories and their results going forward there.
Had anything here, Chad? No? Do you like that? Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, well, back then, yeah, definitely everyone was playing at their peak. And Pronax, you know, he could make some good reads and some good mid-round calls, but it was definitely a lot of talent of the players who were involved making that happen. And then now that the meta's shifted and it seems like more of a strategical one where you want to set the pace or you need to get map territory and go from there, Fnatic are the type of team who just wants to go for that head-up duel, or that's the way it looks anyway. Yeah. They don't really have executes to give them a way in other than hopefully finding a frag. That's changing. That shift has been happening. I've seen more set executes, especially on this map from them. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but going up against HellRaisers, who are on a bit of a high at the moment, I would assume. They did lose last night to Australis, however, on Mirage, and I forgot what the first map was.
No shame there.
Overpass.
Yeah.
Overpass?
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, this is one of their better maps and not one of Fnatic's best. So you would have to say HellRaisers strategically going into this would be the favourites. But if Fnatic show a turn up, you know, Olaf's going off, they're all hitting their shots, then there's no reason Fnatic can't win.
Is there anything to this HellRaisers team, the inconsistency of like someone like Dead Fox? He's obviously going to be, like, especially what we saw at Starladder, one of the biggest impact players they have. As an AWPer, being inconsistent, is that kind of their next step? Is like, you know, find some way for him to be his good games more often?
Like he's a confidence-based player, it seems. Like if he starts having like a good pistol and then they get the 3-0, he gets the AWP early on, then he's looking great. And he's hitting his shots, he's going aggressive and actually having lots of impact at the start. If they have a rough start though and they lose the pistol, go 0-3 and he doesn't have the AWP in the first gun round, that's when they seem to really quieten down. They don't really seem to be able to recover from those situations. So I think it's a lot down to the decent start for HellRaisers overall. Dead Fox especially, he is very inconsistent, I have to say. Like in the beginning of the tournament, even when they beat FaZe to open things up, like he was very quiet. He wasn't the differentiating factor really. It was actually once they got deeper into it towards the semi-finals, when they played maps like Cbble, that's when he really got rolling. And that's actually when I thought, okay, this guy can actually potentially be one of like the top 10 AWPers in the world right now. When he's in this sort of form, it's actually hard to say anything bad against him.
There's one thing with inconsistencies that we talk about, right? And I think to see players as being inconsistent on the CT side is a bit harder because you don't control where the terrorists go. You just hold your position and do your role within the team, right? So one game we might see Sticko only get like 8 kills on the CT side, and one he might get 20 and just go nuts because that's something that I noticed with their team. On the T side, in terms of inconsistencies, that's just got to do with if people aren't hitting their shots and stuff, like you're saying about Dead Fox, if he's rolling out and he's made to get a pick in this area, some games he'll hit all shots, some games he'll hit none. Same with, I think the best player statistically on this team is actually Angel, right, as the in-game leader.
Yeah, he had a great tournament.
But that's because of his play style, right? If you look at it, he's kind of like a, not baity, but more like a lurker in-game leader who does things to bolster himself and really get in there and do what his strengths allow him to do, which is I think is really good because you make the most of your in-game leader at that point. But if that's damaging other stars, that's not a great thing. But in this team, it seems to work. So it's
fair play.
Yeah, I guess, right? As long as you're winning.
Yeah, and we're just waiting for some players to join the server. Okay. So just a tiny bit of time to chat.
Yeah, well, one thing I want to mention as well, Cbble, we always talk about having the limited options on the CT side at the beginning of the round. I think that's why it's quite a damaging map for Fnatic overall. They like to be very dynamic and be pushing through smokes and trying to find picks at the start. Obviously, there's not really much on Cbble. That's why I don't really feel like it's an amazing map for them. I think like on the T side, if they start T side, they can get off to a really good start and maybe close down the CD side. But on Cobble so far, I think they are lacking the kind of technical executions. They have the very basic ones to get like a sort of wall of smoke going down, but it seems like there's a lot of gaps in it as well. I'd love it when they're hitting all the shots. They don't need to have to rely on those. But when it comes down to it, they lose a few rounds in a row. Obviously, the form's not quite there. That's when a lot of teams, especially North, they can run their B execute, let's say, like every single round and almost get a bomb plant guaranteed every single time, right? And it's come to the clutches at the end. Don't really have that same feeling with Fnatic on this map so far. We know Jumpy's working on it. He's bringing those tactics in. But at the moment, I'm not fully convinced by this map. And I actually favor HellRaisers going into this one.
I would love to just see like Fnatic come out with a full, like a gimmick, right? Let's say they win T-Pistol and then they just have some jump smoke, really fast, gimmicky strategy with all like perfect execution. They only need that one strat, right? Run that on the first gun round. Shock and Awe comes in, they beat HellRaisers on that round. HellRaisers eco, all right, next gun round, run it as a fake, you know, and then you're already halfway through the first half, and then you can go to your defaults, then you can go to your picks and stuff. But the biggest bailout, and Lauren and Mitch, they mention it quite a lot. It looks like they've cast a lot of Fnatic games, but the biggest bailout is they go to double AWPs a lot. You know, they really want...
We noticed that at the start of the season as well.
And if you can't get your economy up to keep affording those double AWPs and punish teams for it, and especially on a map like Cobble, you're going to have a rough ride, especially on that CT side.
Like you brought up the double up on Cobble, because we have the head chairman of the anti-double up Cobble.
Listen.
What do we say about bullying, Jason?
That's not bullying.
So I feel a bit bullied.
That's
quite a vicious attack there. Right. Anyway, no, no, it's all right. I'm only joking. No, I'm not. I do feel quite passionate about a double AWP setup on Cobble. I just think it's so vulnerable. I think as soon as it's detected, it's great to throw in every now and then. If you pick up another AWP, I think it's worth it. Give it a go. But as soon as they detect and you win a couple of rounds of it, that's when the wall of smoke's coming towards B, and that means the AWP is either isolated behind the statue or towards Chicken Coop. The rotating AWP are coming in. The bomb's already down. It's a nightmare to kind of retake a bomb site with that weapon, especially if you're by yourself in a one-on-one or 1v2. It's going to be a real difficult affair. I just don't think the map really lends itself to it. You have one real retake route. You come in through the connector or drop down. That's kind of it. Unless you're going to flank all the way around and B halls with the AWP in your hand. It's not really, in my opinion, I don't think it's the best way to win rounds. It's certainly an option if you pick it up, but for me, I'm not aiming to go towards it.
I think like G2 a team who's made it work with Kenny and Shox. I'm very critical of the fact that Shox keeps double AWPing, but it seems to transition to working now, right?
Yeah,
so you can't really be critical.
It works amazingly at the start out of the group stages. They looked amazing. Then no one had to shut it down. But as soon as you get to the playoffs and you can kind of work out what the map's going to be in the best of three, you've watched their demos, you've seen how they're placing them. They got shut down at that point. And Shoxy was very stubborn in the sense that he kept going for that double AWP setup, and people were knowing all the angles he plays. He's not as flashy as Kenny. He's not changing up every single round. He's holding lines, and he's just holding, let's say it's Inferno, he's just holding B at the car. Or if it's Cobble, he's going to be holding the back of the site. Kenny AWPs A now. So it seems like he gets shut down quite easily. And I think that's a problem. If you're going to have a double AWP setup, you need to be mixing it up almost every single round.
Well, since we are still waiting, we do have some time. I'm going to have the standings brought up, the European standings.
Okay, great.
We'll get a closer look at these. We'll be able to talk a little bit more about them. I mean, obviously, the big surprise, HellRaisers being in that top 6, as we've just talked plenty about them. But Mousesports, I mean, their start to the season was largely attributed to Nico being on the team for, I think it was 6 games, Matt said yesterday. And then from here, it's kind of like we know their schedule is going to be difficult, but this is a team that went 2-0 last night. They just keep solidifying this position, just keep hanging on.
Well, we were talking about that last night. We were talking about the run they have, and I mentioned this before, but we'll go over it again because it's quite daunting. You know, they've got a bit of a gauntlet ahead of them. They've got G2, FaZe, HellRaisers who are on the rise, Na'Vi and Fnatic.
If they split a couple of those series,
they're in.
They're third place right now. They just need to pick up, I'd say, maybe 2-3 maps, and they could actually do that.
Let's check out FaZe's schedule, because as a team that just won Star Ladder and has seemed to be on the rise, obviously with Nico in the roster, it would be funny if he put a lot of work into Mousesports and wasn't able to qualify on his own team. But
it's an okay path.
It's moderate, especially
Mousesports, Virtus Pro, HellRaisers, and G2. So yeah, tough series right at the end, but VP may be looking a little weak on the moment. That'll be an interesting matchup, that FaZe Mousesports. Either way, we are finally ready. The players have all joined the server. We're going to send it over to Pansy and Uber, and they're going to take us away on map 1.
Thank you very much, Moses. That we will. Fnatic and HellRaisers, and both teams have been improving. Both teams have been interesting us, intriguing us maybe a little bit as well. I would have loved to actually, I know we're not going to see, I would have loved to see Mirage between these two, just because how good HellRaisers are on it lately, but that's another thing. Cobblestone is going to be Fnatic start on the CT side.
This is looking like a very similar hit. So I was watching back the HellRaisers T side from before, from that game against North, where they won the best of 3 series, but they did lose Cobble. And the interesting factor that I'll probably get to in a second, because it looks like Angel is already taking fights and winning them, looking confident there to find JW. And it's quite strange seeing a team so aggressively taking fights against someone like Fnatic, who normally do it themselves. And there's a split coming in through drop. Nice little smoke to isolate players like Vasha, but he's going to come out swinging. Him and Dennis doing a lot of work here.
Yeah, Fnatic now start to put their foot down a little bit more, and Angel, despite getting 2 kills to start with, he was actually the only player on that B platform. He backed up just as his team pushed out a drop, and now Deadfox has got some work to do. It's just going to be the one kill, but more crucially, the bomb being dropped in connector means Angel has to go and retrieve.
You're not going to win that one. There's Flusher just swinging out wide and taking the fight. Now, the thing I want to talk about was that double AWP. It was brought up on the desk. And the funny thing was, now, HellRaisers didn't win a single round the moment that North brought out the double AWPs on the CT side. So clearly HellRaisers do have a little bit of an issue trying to handle it. They very much like going for those A hits on their T side, so it's something to look out for here. Fnatic love it as well. That's why I bring it in this early.
Yeah.
As soon as Fnatic can get the double AWP, it will be there.
The problem is when Fnatic are in like maybe not a well-established financial situation, that extra investment towards the AWP can actually hurt them if it doesn't work out. And it's always map dependent, you know, what you can actually achieve with a double AWP setup. Cbble, like Henry says, feels this a little bit more of a vulnerable map. We'll have to see if that comes out, but for now, there's a few more rounds that need to go before then. And Sticko, young player, leaving school, focusing on Counter-Strike, so far really improving in that way, as of HellRaisers as a whole. And Dennis now going to be waiting in danger with the FAMAS. Sees one play, but Angel challenges him out. Second opening kill with a pistol in the last 2 rounds.
A little sloppy there from Dennis, to be fair, and he was very much isolated, but what is that positioning, Angel? You're just going to leave yourself vulnerable? No one had checked up on long, and I think Deadfox was kind of aware there could be someone there. You could see how hesitant he was to make it any further. And, well, they're going to suffer for that one. Bit of a shame. That could have been a little bit more. And now you can see the pullover of players. You've got Crims here watching that middle push-up. Olofmeister still on long, so there's no real problems at the moment. Smoke goes in towards the door as well. So now the hit's going to come in, but they're not checking this. And, yeah, just a little bit sloppy on the play up there, HellRaisers. Maybe not expecting someone to be that close towards middle off. They did pick up Dennis, but it's worked out well for Crims. And now Bondic only with a P250. A little bit of a dink there, good stuff from him, but it doesn't equate to a kill. So at the end of the day, only taking down Dennis, a bit of a light investment from HellRaisers, not much. There was a couple of pistols. You saw a smoke or two as well, a smoke, should I say. But yeah, it wasn't a big deal on that one. But yeah, this was just a little bit of a shame they didn't check it.
Zero was checking, but far further up the path.
There's a couple of them, isn't there, you can sit behind.
Okay, 2 rounds in which HellRaisers have gotten the first kill, and 2 rounds that they've failed to win out on there. Things falling apart a little bit later on. Fnatic keep most of this weaponry intact. It was actually Crims, I think it salvaged FAMAS to give back to Dennis after picking it up off a drop body last round. He upgrades the M4. There's a ton of utility here, and there's none on HellRaisers. This is a very bare bones round for this Eastern European mix.
And the man who started off that UMP trend that everyone discussed as well, Flusher, known for sticking on it in drop beyond having to. He was always became the bank of Fnatic off the back of just having the UMP being so powerful with it, never upgrading. Always did so well, and now it's such a commonplace piece for a CT side or MT as well. So GW going for the max 7. Oh, well, that little bit of broken wall by Plateau, but he's going to have a little bit of a leer in. Nicely done from GW, just getting the information, just keeping tabs on where they are without having to fully commit anywhere. And taking his time. HellRaisers, ideal situation here, a plant, but you can see the backup plan of Crims, right? He's sat all the way out. Get absolutely wrecked. Sticko, that's got to burn a little bit. JW's putting on a bit of a show there, but Deadfox will at least find him. But, the backup plan was Crim, sitting all the way back at Chicken Coop. Olofmeister, what is this?
Yeah,
boys?
A little bit,
what is this?
Bit messy from him. I mean, he gets Bondic down towards 2 HP, but sometimes the UMP doesn't always act as reliably as it perhaps should. Dennis, though, is able to at least recover that. And Deadfox is eventually going to go down there. Fnatic, solid round for them, but HellRaisers come in with no armor and no utility to speak of. So, again, they get a couple of kills that maybe they shouldn't even have gotten here. But that's the game, that's CS. And that's Fnatic up 3-0. This second frag is ridiculous. This is floating like a butterfly.
It's like, okay, fine.
And stinging like a Mack truck to the face. Look at this. That's just ridiculous. Nicely done. Good correction, despite being in midair.
So the other thing I want to highlight about HellRaisers on their T side is they really like the A hits. It's something that actually worked very well for them against North until the double AWPs. Once that came into play, then things changed and it wasn't as easy. But they do like their A hits. They like their attention towards long. At the moment, it looks somewhat similar to how I saw them play against North, so maybe it could happen this way. Maybe they've changed up. Considering they lost that game, it could have been a little bit of a quick review period and gone, all right, maybe that's not quite how we want to play this, but still. At the moment, on the receiving end of this as well would be Dennis and Olofmeister. Again, quite a tough duo to get past. Olofmeister always calm under pressure. See how well he handles this already. Bit of long control coming out. Olof's gone for the closer smoke here, and those traces are close. He stays unscathed for now. Not too worried, but he has to be eventually. Danger's not being able to be spotted yet by Dennis. Now they've kind of, helped each other out, and fallen back a little bit further. They lost control of middle, so Danger became a threat, and Olofmeister could have been pinched. You see the response instantly. Now, again, HellRaisers doing somewhat of a similar thing. This kind of slow build up towards A. Crims would be probably first to rotate, if anyone. He's already sat in connector.
Sticko hasn't done too much to justify keeping players over at this site on the Fnatic side. Now a little bit, Molotov's come in, and that's actually, you know, caused an ejection of utility on the side of the Swedes.
But look at this angle that Crims has there. He's going to spot if anyone actually pushes it down. And you might see that exchange coming through pretty quickly. Flash comes in, but Dennis is in a really nice angle. He's going to hear these steps as well. That's why Flash is on his way. And
the anti-flash.
The timing! He turned his back for a flash that just wasn't coming in. It's a little bit too late now. And Olofmeister's a little isolated on the side, and here's the backup. Flasher comes charging in, but he gets found by Zero. And then Olofmeister pounces, trades it out well, leaving Dead Fox all on his lonesome at long.
Yeah, gonna go down as well. It's been said of Dead Fox sometimes rounds in which he doesn't have the AWP have been a lot weaker for him. I think his stats are more skewed than a lot of AWPers actually in that particular direction. A good example of this is, actually I bring him up a couple times. I talk about a skewed AWPer is Little though, from Fluffy Gangsters. I don't know who he's playing for now, but he was like one of those players that really didn't get any kills with rifles or pistols and only with AWPs. So something to keep an eye on there, and that can affect your consistency as a player. We've discussed that matter with Dead Fox multiple times. Now, HellRaisers buy in with pistols. They actually have a little bit more armor to work with this time, and some smokes. We'll see how they set these up here. HellRaisers is one of the first teams to actually pioneer the smoke from T-spawn in towards CT connector. Or the connector between A and B, should I say.
Keynote.
Yeah, I liked it though. Dropped right in. We saw Rops, his first round last night, he actually laid that smoke down perfectly. It can be very strong.
This looks like maybe an A pinch here. You might see the smokes coming through pretty soon, just because you've got Angel and Dead Fox over by middle. You've got Bondic and Zero over by drop, so it'd be a nice idea to try and pinch that connector. But it's kind of hard to execute when you've only got these pistols. They do have the armor to boot as well, so you'd hope they'd get something done on this. And here comes the flash, here comes the play, here comes that pressure through drop, and it's Zero leading the charge, and he's going to overwhelm Crims. That's going to cause an issue. Flusher has to respond, and he's not done very well. Bondic's caught him off guard, and they've got a 5v3, and they've got great map control here, but it's down to Dennis and Olofmeister to dig him out of this one.
Second time we've seen this. Dennis doesn't just hold the angle, he actually almost, you know, is prepared for the push to come through. Instead of just trying to be cheeky, he actually takes the initiative and peeks into the enemy team as they're trying to set up. This time they weren't any flash, but still doesn't stop him from getting 2 kills.
Sticko can still be very useful here, because JW can't push up without crossing past him. But Zero and Bondic need to stay alive for some time, and they've gone around each other, and there you go, Zero's been found, and it's all on Bondic here. He's got an angle, but it doesn't matter. It looks like Fnatic are on point, or at least the boys on AR for now. Yeah, sure, the bomb was down, but Dennis's play was sublime. Olofmeister playing back into the site very nicely. They didn't rush the retake. They didn't go in ones. They kind of play in this really nice crunch position. It was really, really well done in the end. And, you know, HellRaisers did get a plant out of that. They did a lot of damage considering it was upgraded pistols with, you know, armor to boot and a bit of utility. Now we've got the AWP coming out. No double AWP yet to be seen for Fnatic. Now, the original thing when I was talking to a couple of teams, the only time they knew that Fnatic would go to the double AWP is when they felt pressured, when they felt they needed to go to something else rather than, you know, tactically switching up maybe their approach to their CT side. That's when they'd do it, when they'd feel, you know, the pressure. So maybe they're just not feeling it yet. Maybe they're fine like this. Maybe Olofmeister happy right now. But on the other side, we'll see if there's maybe something more to be brewing here from HellRaisers.
JW doesn't have a Mag 7, but playing similarly as if he did for the moment. At least someone to drop down out of the smoke. He'd be hoping to catch them with a no-scope, but it won't be happening here. Dead Fox himself has an AWP, and I mean, HellRaisers are running out of time. If they wanted to rotate back towards A, they're going to go. No, they're fully committed to this. Flash is going to have to try and receive on B platform, and it's traded out. JW responds, but he's going to get pushed, and Zero up in his face from drop room. Dennis can respond, and this makes it a 2v2. It's a messy round, but HellRaisers getting closer to the round win than they've had so far in this game. It's going to be a plant. They've got an AWP still in the game, and Angel is going to play up close here towards the rock.
Meister not going to have the little bit of a slide out on that one, and Dennis, this is a tough crossfire to get past. You've got Angel holding close, and Dead Fox can just take kind of peeks here and there. Yeah, shoulder peek there. I'm not sure if he spotted him. I think he might have, yeah. Definitely knows now. Nice consideration from Dennis to already kind of predict that that could be the crossfire piece in play, but it doesn't matter. The shot comes through in the end, and we'll see. Finally, HellRaisers getting a little bit of a step back here. They've had a good couple of close rounds. They haven't been able to kind of, you know, seal the deal. They've got the bomb plants, they've got into, you know, off-plant situations, and there's the double AWP. JW and Olofmeister instantly go to it, they lose one round, maybe think, all right, let's give them a new look. Let's cut a new figure into this.
Yeah, but again, you know, we talk about the money. It's an expensive weapon, right? It's not, that one didn't get nerfed to $200. So you still need to be very, very careful about how you play around that. Fnatic are the kind of team that's just going to go in for it here. And again, they're an analyst's nightmare, and that's fine. We like them the way they are. So JW is going to play up close. Olofmeister going to play towards that long A part of the map here. So an early peek on towards someone playing close will work, but now JW to back up towards the site.
They're so much more attentive. Look at Flusher's position as well. He's not been playing this close by. Angel taking an absolute bucket load of damage. I can imagine that's through the door because it's Dennis spamming on the other side. Yeah, it would have been purely just that going on, nothing more than it. But look at what he's achieved and gave away nothing in the meantime. Bit of a shame for them. Flusher, though, is the next big story piece here. He's pushed up so far as well. Kind of taking the spot of JW, playing further back, and that is nasty. And I'm really liking the way that CT sides are now vying for that control of plateau, and then the longer side of it as well towards B. So pushing the T's all the way back after them fight for the control just to get towards the platform edge. It does mean that HellRaisers is now considering drop, but look at the massive CTs here. You've got Dennis playing over by the window, Crims and JW kind of by drop, and what JW still has the AWP, so it could be a bit tricky for him to hit this, but it's still JW known for that up close and personal AWPing. Let's see if he can do it now. Shoulder peek comes in, he doesn't hesitate. Great work from him, and now there could be a second to follow, but no, Zero will finally best him.
Yeah, Zero's actually been the thorn in his side so far at rounds, where HellRaisers have actually made some inroads. Good start. Angel himself has the AWP here, and he just gets smashed by Flusher. He and Dennis have a really good feel in this particular game. You watch them play, their timings have been so good. And now Zero has to bail his team out. He's had to do this a couple times before. In fact, he used to be that one guy left alone in the 1v4 situation, most often for HellRaisers, playing that lurker role, but it's very reliable.
But look how different as well Fnatic played that. You had Flusher, who's normally known for playing, you know, underneath that drop balcony or in the side room, electric box, however you want to call it, on the side of drop. This time, super attentive towards playing on plateau, and it, you know, he was the one who got that nade kill. He was the one who was spamming through the smoke on the stairs constantly. So, you know, it looks like there is a bit of variety to how Fnatic approaches CT side. We'll see if that comes through now, but in this round, no armor this time to be seen for HellRaisers, just those upgraded pistols. Well, should I say 3 of them? There's still 2 Glocks up here as well. And look at the passive nature. You've got JW all the way back at Chicken Coop, and now they've gone a little more attentive towards drop. But not directly inside. You've got Flusher kind of playing quite close, but then the support Crims over by the window. So again, they're kind of aware of what they're coming up to. You've got that UMP with Crims this time, why not? You can farm a bit of cash up. And Dennis just kind of playing for the Molly piece here. Spots him out, Molly goes down. Doesn't need to be overwhelmed by it, backs away a little, just in case there was that quick hit.
Angel, often the aggressor, not even really considering the chance of pushing past a Molly and trying to take his opponent off guard. So there's an AWP at each site here, and both of them are playing fairly passively at this stage. That's tough for HellRaisers to break, especially with this lack of utility. So they can't really skew any situations in their favor percentage-wise, if you want to look at it that way. They need to get these opening kills, but the problem is angles are being covered here. Fnatic aren't really being forced to rotate. They're not being pressured. HellRaisers sort of offer one player in Angel to see if he can get something, but that's wishful thinking up against what Fnatic are bringing into this round. They've got some utility left over if they want to use it here. Now, that's nice. That's what they were looking for, and it's here Zero again to deliver, but Olafmeister peaks for his second.
It's always going to feel nice, isn't it? Oh, that's not those. Sticker and Zero landing. Nice little bit of work back to back, and what is going on, boys? Zero now in a 1v2. If you can get a plant and somehow define 2 individual 1v1s, it'd be a miracle. And 5 bullets in a dream, and that dream has been crushed. They can recover the AWPs, no problem about that, and they'll get a fuse pretty soon. That got a little bit too close, but I think Fnatic just kind of lost a little bit of focus there. Yeah,
perhaps you're right. Again, HellRaisers are getting a lot more than they maybe should have had. And look, it's these Deagle peaks, you know, I mean, HellRaisers are trying to access the site and actually get some information about it, but often doing so is lethal here. Fnatic, you can play this CT side. You can actually be comfortable not having a ton of information about what the enemy team's doing, which is something that's very hard to do on this particular map. If you sit back with 2 AWPers, you know you can give your enemy plenty of room to breathe. That's the whole point of playing double AWP on the CT side at least, and you can have confidence that you're going to be ready to receive them with players like JW and Olafmeister to take them down and give that stopping power they need.
This time, it looked like JW wanted to peek towards Plat, but then backed away from it. Olafmeister's getting a good bit of info here. He actually went for a very active peek, and you can see off the back of that, Dennis already heading over towards B. He's now playing that window spot. So Olafmeister feeling comfortable enough to play that kind of 4-1 out. And if he feels uncomfortable, he feels pressured, he can always call for support. But for now, it helps out the numbers. I think we just saw a boost up towards the tree as well for Flusher. So holding quite far back on B. No one's actively, you know, fighting out. Nice. No one's actively fighting out towards the plateau. They kind of leave it there, and they're making noise. That spam was to allow them to get down drop, so you don't hear the feet hitting the floor, but there's the trade out. Flusher finds Zero, but Bondic replies. JW's still there, and they're playing passive. Now they know where the big bulk of that hit came in. That's towards drop. Dead Fox is all alone on plateau as well with the bomb. And
that kind of smoke that you saw that got dropped in towards this opening here, that completely takes the wind out of your sail as HellRaisers. You're midway on some sort of execute or trying to pressure forward, you get a trade, it's not positive, you lose out, and then you get smoked, and then you're left to stew a little bit longer against 2 AWPs. That could be nasty, but JW playing up a little bit closer, it turns out to be his undoing.
Yeah, why would you... He's doing that with an AWP. It's like crazy confidence. Someone like JW can get away with it sometimes, but maybe a little overzealous on this one.
Even he can't do it every time.
No, and this might have just not necessarily cost them around. His move didn't, but you know, it looks like Fnatic again a little bit hap-handed here, a little bit overconfident, and they got caught out in the end. They are leading by quite a large margin, but still, you know, I love aggressive plays towards Plat, right? I'm a big fan of it, but it doesn't particularly help out that much.
Sometimes you really fancy getting be able to peek through the gap in the smoke. No.
No. But it did cover the noise. I actually quite like that idea from HellRaisers. That wasn't the reason they won that round. It might have helped, but
well, they lost the trade pushing out a drop on platform anyway.
I like the idea. But the thing is that Fnatic playing that kind of hyper-aggressive style of putting players up to that aggressive stance with an AWP in hand has now kind of allowed a window of opportunity for HellRaisers. They've kind of been reset on money. They're down to P250s and a Deagle, 2 USPs. So
So it's losing one round after winning a bunch. It doesn't matter when you're spending so much money to try and maintain that double AWP. They were saving the AWPs. I think if Fnatic had actually lost one of the AWPs, they probably wouldn't have rebought it so quickly, but they spent a lot of money around those as well to get AKs back in their teammates' hands. Sticko playing close. JW again comes forward. Interesting enough, I mean, trying to get a little bit more information. This is where it gets really hard as a CT-sided team because you want to try and get a feel for what the T side is doing. Rotations can be painful, especially if the Ts have control of drop. Which they don't yet, but could do. olofmeister going wide. Again, this is a reconnaissance game for Fnatic. Not going the way they want it to, but they can accept this. They can allow this round to go by.
Yep. All right, Sticko clearing up on site. And the final member for Fnatic is found. That's Crim's gone, and a clean round for HellRaisers. That's what you want to be seeing. So, didn't get the additional bomb plant, but I don't think they really care that much.
It's funny how often you see this. It's like a half check, because if you check every corner in its entirety, well, a lot of players sort of won't get their information. It also depends on what resolution you play. I think if you play with the 4:3, sometimes you don't have you don't have your full peripherals. I mean, who knows? Lerpus might think I'm wrong and call me out on that one, but I'm pretty sure that you don't get to see everything.
I will say there's a discussion point for checking corners with intent to actually kill someone there rather than just going through the motions. But I like this, very VP-esque, right? Do you remember VP used to do the stack over on middle and the grassy side of it? There's one flash out and then they try and pounce, but no. HellRaisers is well aware. Bondic, it's not a spicy bit of aim there, Bondic, but it's all right. It's all right. olofmeister, I don't expect you to get 5, not even 1. But you know, I like teams trying to try something a little bit different on their pistols. You know, stack somewhere, do something a little unique. But here comes the buy again.
Big spenders, Fnatic are, as they always have been. JW has to think about it. Do I want to buy this? Yeah, it goes without helmet. It's fine. He's up against the T side. Not an issue. But they were double eco those last couple of rounds, and that's what happens when you're spending up in this one. You're losing so many every round. And
the money's now phenomenal for HellRaisers. They're sat on a really nice little nest egg. Here's the double smokes that they've been doing. I think these are like the connector side smokes, and then one goes a little deeper.
Oh, one drop.
That's so sweaty.
Oh, that's nice.
I love it.
Yeah, look, forces the player to move ahead of it as well.
And we saw this, I think, from another team as well, but I'll come back to that right now because HellRaisers are making the hit and it's going nicely. 0 finding the first is massive, but JW is handling the pressure well so far. But Dead Fox is up for the fight and he wins it out. Now you're down to olofmeister and Dennis to control this one. The two players who are over by A, so they're playing back into this with an AWP in hand now. And it's a 1v3, and it's not looking likely.
No, smoke in the way for olofmeister. You can even hear that Molotov being thrown in his direction. We see this situation so many times in CSGO. AWP sitting up on statue, another player playing periphery to that, but olofmeister finds him. That's the trade, though. That's what HellRaisers were looking for. Now, Lauren, let's talk about these sweaty smokes we saw at the start of the round. That one that dropped in towards the tree was lovely.
But the thing is, it allows such a smooth hit as well because you're only doing it with 2 players, right? Because you saw the NIP ones that were from like A side that took kind of like 3 players. It was like a set, a long piece, quite a set long piece, and then you had the players instantly being able to hit off the back, not having to set up. You just saw them straight out, right? And this is just it's done the same pretty much, but with 2 players. It's really, really nicely done. I actually absolutely love it. So I'm happy to see it work. It's isolated players. It made it very uncomfortable for Fnatic to play back into it, but we've got the 4-1 now because maybe Fnatic going, all right, well, we've had a bit of a problem here now. We've hit that brick wall. We're not doing as nicely as we expected. A couple of over-aggressive plays have seemed to cost them quite a bit. And olofmeister might have made a step here because Angel's staring. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. olofmeister, we're an animal. And Dennis, what is that? 3 kills back-to-back, and of course JW to close out the round. But Dennis, we didn't even see it from his perspective, but 3 of those kills back-to-back are just obscene. That's just won them the round.
Now, you chalk that up to a Fnatic round, you know, Lauren. At any time, any given day, you can see that kind of stuff here, but there's maybe no rhyme or reason for it, especially Olofmeister. They're getting a bit fortunate. Here's what Dennis was at, or this is what Olofmeister produced for us here as well. That's the replay.
Here we go.
Okay, so has himself the deal. He's got a pistol, but we always talk about it. Okay, they weren't ready for it, and there was a bit of a gap in the smoke, but even still, that was a beautiful cleanup. But Fnatic, they lose rounds, they buy in double AWPs and all this nonsense, and they win out a round like that. It's astonishing. It is Fnatic.
What can you say about that one, eh?
Well, nothing. I don't think any analyst can say anything about it. That's just the Fnatic thing, but that slows HellRaisers down a little bit, Lauren. I'll be honest with you. You can see they're playing this sort of long A sort of waiting game with two players. They do this a couple of times, and Deadfox is sitting back. So HellRaisers are hoping for a pick or something early like that, and we might get it. Fnatic are the kind of team that may sort of serve those up to you on a platter, and there it is. Now HellRaisers know, that's that first pick we're looking for. Now we head towards A.
But look at this response from Fnatic. They've almost evacuated the B site, and HellRaisers have not committed here. Now that's going to, if anything, encourage the sell, right? That's going to make them think, oh, we found Angel. Cool, let's hit. And now you've got Bondic and Zero already getting such control here. They can deny the rotates coming back in or the retake from Fnatic very quickly if they try to get back to position as fast as possible. But Olofmeister's on the quick flank. He's getting there very, very quickly. So keep your eyes towards him as well. Sticker could be vulnerable. And HellRaisers have kind of like slowed down a little because they got a little hesitant, a little cautious.
No plant yet.
You can't blame them. You can't blame them for thinking that, but somehow Zero predicted that quick flank coming around, watched the back early, and it's this 3v3.
Smokes are up and in the way, but Flusher doesn't seem to care. Now he's going to make his way forward. It's Sticko up on the platform. Trading blows at the moment, Flusher going low. It's a desperate spray now for Sticko. It's only Zero to flank him. He's going to drop in towards drop room, actually, and try and get the better of JW, who doesn't know he's there. He hasn't turned, so this is a chance for Zero. The bomb, got to be defused. Crims need to be stopped. He doesn't have a kit. This is a chance for Zero now. He realizes he can take it. He doesn't think it's being defused. It's perfect. It's perfect. He's not going to go for this at all. He thought it was just a tickle, a fake. Maybe expected them to have the kit. He gets 2 kills at the end, and that was nice. But Fnatic are in their heads.
Oh, that sucks. Poor old Zero.
You don't always expect a full defuse sans kit.
The 10-second defuse,
because,
right?
Yeah. Because you've always got to sort of guess. You don't see the model, right? So you've always got to guess as Zero. Okay, I have to assume he has a kit here. Otherwise, I'm playing very dangerously. So he's like, okay, so just a tickle. Otherwise, you know, it could be done.
Yeah, you got to feel from a little bit there.
Pros
but
don't
still,
fake.
No, this could be a 10-5 half for Fnatic if they keep up at this sort of pace. But JW takes a bit of a lashing early on, down to 22 HP. Is going to force him a little bit further back, possibly. But then against JW, you don't expect logical responses to everything. And a nice little wall of smoke for Olofmeister. Almost claims a second. Bondic receives a little bit of shrapnel through the teammate that just fell, which was Angel. Now, Olofmeister doesn't want to back away either. He's still very present here because he's got Dennis holding middle, so no one can come up danger, so he can just focus right back to where he was. And if anything, that's going to help Crims now know where he needs to be. They haven't followed up. They haven't taken map control over by A. They're still kind of all the way filtering back over towards B, where everyone's still set in place.
It's funny how HellRaisers always set up and hope to be given something like a first kill, but Fnatic almost expecting that. They're sitting back there, actually thinking they'll be able to, you know, get a man advantage before we even get this round started, but we're going to make them pay for it, and they do. And that's that early CT aggression that can really dismantle T's just waiting in the wings, hoping that they see a CT head, especially if you know what you're doing. Bondic's low. He's got Flusher in drop there as well, so hopefully this B platform activity will maybe sort of take a bit of attention away from this one. But Olaf, this is an interesting little duel. Bondic takes him down there. Olaf was well deep on the flank.
Where are they going? Dennis? Crims, both backing away towards A. Okay, fair enough. It's allowed HellRaisers a huge chance here. And Flush is kind of surrounded, but he likes to be able to work his way out of these. 7 seconds left now. They've got to get that bomb down. No disputing that one. It's just down to Dennis here. Final round of the first half.
1v2. It's Zero up on the platform, and Dennis didn't spot him there as well. Maybe it was just the X-ray that we saw. He's got 2 players to deal with, and it's very hard to win out in situations like that. The double face down for HellRaisers will secure them a 6th round coming into halftime. It's 9-6 here. Fnatic start off well. A little bit of overspending, but it's worked out for them so far. We'll get a break coming up, and after, we'll see the second half of this map. We'll see the side switch at HellRaisers on the CT. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. They say sometimes, Lauren, the walls have ears, but in this game, the chickens do as well. Nice little touch for Easter coming in, but half-time, it's 6-9, and Fnatic do lead by 3 rounds. We got to see a little bit of the double AWP presence, and we got to see some of the struggles the HellRaisers had with it, Lauren.
Wait, do they actually have bunny ears on right now? I don't see them. The chickens don't have bunny ears on. Are we on an old patch? Oh, so I guess we're not allowing them. Wait. I wanted to see the chickens and bunnies.
So it was on our preview in on Inferno. Maybe it's only on Inferno.
It's a lie.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I have talked to Rushdie about that. I assume he's one of the recorded the footage.
Why are the chickens not having ears on? Are we on an old patch or something? Just
an old patch?
Because of the negative.
Could be the server. I'm not sure. They definitely don't have ears this time. So I'm sorry for getting everyone excited. I did see that they made the change. Yeah, they lay eggs.
This is some bullshit. All right, raid boss time. Olafmeister's got the Tech 9 in case you need more help. JW doesn't care that there's opponents and just feeds. So, Olafmeister, where's the trade? What are you going to do with this? Let's see how much you can get done already. There's a nice little setup for him. His teammate's going to soften it, and then he just went in for it. And again, it's just a walkout here for Fnatic. Just taking every single fight they can, and they don't give a flying...
Chicken. Okay. You know what's really frustrating, Lauren? Is that Zero is such a good player. He's so sharp. He wins so many of these clutch situations. But in some games, he just doesn't turn up. Or no, it's rounds inside the same game, which gets me about him as well. I think he actually could be one of the best players from his region if he wasn't inconsistent. He starts off with a kill at least there, but gets run over. And this Tech 9 aggression was effective, to say the very least, especially with Olafmeister at the helm.
Yes. And JW's doing my favourite. He's got the Kraken out.
Oh, he's got the Kraken out, all right.
I love a bit of this. This is my go-to. This makes me very happy to see. No, don't flush her. Stop it. I just want to see JW being really obnoxious with the shotgun because there's nothing you can do against it apart from sit away. Oh,
is he actually...
Do it. Do it. You've seen the shadow. You've seen the shadow. You've seen the shadow. You've seen the shadow. You've seen... It didn't go well.
Yeah, it could have gone better, to be honest with you.
Go on, Angel. Try and get the shotgun.
Pick up the gun, mate.
Get back on it. Pick up the Kraken.
It's going to be like the sword in Soul Calibur. You pick it up, it steals your soul. I think I can link to it. I think there's a couple of examples of that. It's like the ring. It's like the one ring, you know? Yeah. You might be invisible, especially when you're playing in drop room, but also eventually it's going to corrupt you over time. And you can't get rid of it. You don't want to let it go. It can only be pried from your cold, dead hands. But Angels doesn't want any of it. He knows what's about. He's like Aragorn, you know? Boromir, he puts that on. He's like, yeah, I could be the king of Gondor. Aragorn's like, nah, man, not about that.
You're such a nerd.
Not about that.
Such a nerd.
Well, I'm sitting here talking about video games, Lauren, so I don't know what the intimation is there.
JW, buy the shotgun again.
Sticko, 6 and 15 here. Look, a little bit of a quieter game from him. We saw... we probably see most of his frags on observation, actually, and they were quite impactful, but he's been quiet. HellRaisers will be quiet this round as well.
This is something we're going to discuss at some point. Now, this isn't the best example of it, but Flusher just sitting on a Glock here. Not even getting upgraded pistol, being dropped out, anything, and somehow Crims has already taken damage, and so has Dennis. I don't understand how that's happened. Was there something... I don't get it, and it's actually worked. The best thing is, Flusher's one of the players to get a kill.
Yeah, this is going well. Bondic's waiting for a chance to use his Zeus. Zero. See what I mean? It does my head in, and then just gets completely flattened. So that's the way it goes. Bondic now is going to be waiting in drop room. And it's so funny how this gun makes you play, because ordinarily, he might just go on Facing Music or try and get something with USP, but now he's like, no. I need to justify the purchase of this Zeus. I need to make Sadakist's favourite sound.
It's true. It does make Matt happy.
I think it makes us all happy because it's comical. I want it in a patch. I mean, if you're going to change the ears on the chickens, I want to shoot confetti or something ridiculous like that.
They did do before, didn't they? For
oh, maybe they did. Like a party popper too close to your head.
What was that noise? That sounded different. That sounded like a different noise. Am I going mad?
Did that even connect? I don't even know.
Did someone just play? Was that Chad?
I reckon someone just played it in our ears.
That was definitely Chad. I was like, that didn't connect. And why did it make a noise? That was definitely Chadwick. It was good. That was good.
I like it. That was pretty funny. All right, so what doesn't work out is kind of the point I'm trying to make here. HellRaisers buy in. Fnatic see no need to, think about AWPs at this stage. And of course, Crim's now a little bit of extra money to be made here with that UMP. And they're in such a good position now. It was 6-9 at half-time. HellRaisers were definitely in this one with a fighting chance. But a dominant pistol round, and then Fnatic have been playing this fairly cleanly out since then. Dennis. A cursory nade dropped at the feet of Bondic. Sticko may have been looking for something on a long A there, but he hasn't found anything, so this will probably give a little bit of information. However, what's really interesting is a Flusher and Crims. If you can see on the minimap, they're sitting way back.
They've just done the smokes, I think. I think they might have failed one of them. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, those two just did the kind of like NIP quote-unquote smokes from that same sort of spot. Now the mollies go in, and now they're going to do the hit off the back of it. Dead Fox has got statue position. He's got someone just to his left as well, so he's got support here. So he will be found, but it's Zero who then kind of picks up the mantle that he just left, and he somehow finds one through the smoke. In the second, the tracers show he's fine. He backs away. He readjusts. He doesn't want to stay on his own here because, well, the rest of Fnatic are en route.
Flusher's in a good spot. He's going to be able to get the plant down, and Olafmeister will be able to flank him and just keep an eye on things. This will slow HellRaisers down. The smoke in front of the statue means that in a situation like this, as a 4v3, they're hoping Sticko can actually do something. Can they get someone into the drop room? Can they put someone there? No, Flush is going to spray down through the smoke, and it leaves HellRaisers battered, beaten, bruised, but not broken yet. Flusher spray down, doesn't get it done. Zero responds, and now it's the 2v4 situation, but they're all so low on health. And now Olafmeister has to hope that JW softened him up enough for him to complete. They flash him, they know he's there. This could get nasty, but it is Olafmeister. Oh, that's sharp. The little flick across there. Now Zero, low health on the statue. Can he bail his team out of this one? He doesn't have time. He's got no kit, no chance. And Olafmeister wraps it all up in a bow and sends it back with love. 13-6, he will go. Lose the gun, but there's money there for Fnatic because they haven't been buying AWPs.
And this just feels like Fnatic I don't know. I don't know when Fnatic doesn't feel like this, but it just feels like they're just going through the motions of just beating down HellRaisers. HellRaisers have yet to really, like, hinder them in any big way early game, right? There's not been that enough utility being put down, and even there maybe was, they were still able to do that late hit with the smokes from this side, straight over towards B, hit well off the back. It feels like they're just running over them. And I guess the first thing when you play Fnatic is you've got to get them to respect you in game, right? You've got to slow them down on that style, and it's very hard for that to happen here. Angel playing the corner. Again, just gets run over. Flusher doesn't stop for a second. The jumping UMP is all you need. And now, still, Fnatic with 5 players standing, they can pick wherever they want to go here. They've been able to isolate these 2 players, keep them separated at this point.
And this is your force from HellRaisers here. They're trying to make sure this game doesn't get too far out of their grasp, but it's heading in that direction. No questions about that. 2 players have armor. Sticko has the scout. He's playing very, very passively on A. Not many players will sit all the way back on the site sort of earlier on in the round before they see any sort of push, but he might also be ready to rotate. But Flusher and Crims always play really close back towards long A or towards their spawn, so they give themselves a lot of flexibility. But now inside the minute mark is when teams either rotate or change sides, or they commit to one of them, and it seems it's the latter now, just about to go down.
Yeah, Zero's in a good spot for this. No one's really considered it. Nice damage towards JW. Sets up Dead Fox. And there's still a fight to be had here for HellRaisers, but the more damage they take, the worse this one gets. Sticko's in a bit of a predicament as well. He's got no cover, nowhere to run. Yeah, a bit of a shame for him. He tried to find someone on the way down, but it just wasn't to be. And now the long flank from Bondic just isn't feeling all that nice. Flusher just needs to look there for 1 second. Now the radar's going to show, and obviously he's going to hear these shots, and the bomb plant can go down safe from either side.
So if you're Bondic, there's not much to be done here. You can hope for an exit, something, try and keep the Fnatic money low. I mean, last round, I think even Olaf died, and this round they're down to 2. So, if you're playing for the last few rounds, you can have 1 more bio you force for the next 2 to try and stay alive. Getting a kill here definitely has merit. Crims are just holding the line there. Getting chipped away at, but Bondic is struggling to connect with him properly.
Yeah, what do you do if you're Bondic here, you know what I mean? It's like, well, can't get a gun out of it. Can't really get a kill here. I'm just hoping maybe they go down with a bomb as well. Maybe I find one. Maybe I should just back away and keep my armor. There we go, off we go. Falling back, he does at least have the 5-7. He did cost 1 their lives, and he might be able to steal the gun if he's quick about it. Hoping that maybe the bomb explosion had pushed it further towards the door, but it wasn't to be the case. And now again into this sort of position. Finally, HellRaisers, it's a semi-decent buy. It's not even perfect. It's good enough. They've forgone a lot of things to get those mollies. You can see that they've got 5 there now. Every single player going to pick that up, but only 2 kits, which is fine. But you feel that this is the first time they're able to really make a stand, and they're already facing 14 rounds against them.
Yeah, definitely starting to feel a little bit inexorable right now, no doubt about it. Oops, but only 1 for Fnatic, 1 for Dead Fox. Oh, and Olofmeister is no more. Nice opening there from Dead Fox. There was a nade involved there. That was Zero's doing. So even a leg would have killed Olofmeister at that stage, I surmise. 4 players for Fnatic, and this is 1:25 left in the round, but they're already committed to this now. Angel hoping to receive, but then it just slaps him back down. That was a big opportunity there for HellRaisers. With all the smoke up, it's going to be tough for HellRaisers to get in good positions now as the hit comes in towards the site. Flash out, Stico can hardly see anything. There's dirt being kicked up here, there, and everywhere from these grenades, and JW, again, too close for comfort.
A little bit of a reminder maybe for Fnatic, but look how low Zero and Bondik are. You've got to feel with someone like Flusher still standing. There's a good chance he's going to find Bondik on the site, and the last 2 players actually don't have much vision. Playing retake on this is going to be incredibly tough, and Zero's a million miles away. I guess he can go on the long flank and try and be somewhat relevant, but this is such a long investment of time with such low HP. It might just be saving for him if he doesn't get anything instantly. And the same thing we said for Dead Fox. If he doesn't find something now, you might have to just let him get to 15. I don't see them be able to find a way back in. So little time for mistakes, so little time to consider where they might be, but actually a gifted opportunity. Oh, Dead Fox, if only you'd been able to follow up, that could have been perfect. But still, Flusher can just buy time. Look at the bomb timer, it is ticking so quickly, and that's just outstanding. Flusher, that's dirty, and I absolutely bloody love it. Well done, Flusher. That's the way to get yourselves on 15 and just take the bomb at the end. But yeah, just buying time, just look at him dancing around it. You could hear the steps towards the site, and then just toying with them.
3 rounds in a row where HellRaisers get at least 3 kills in the round. 2 of those 3 have been 5. They've had aces, but they've sort of died. So, and it doesn't matter because the buffer that Fnatic have right now, they're so close to being victorious. HellRaisers, they can't play a war of attrition game when they're so far down. They were 12-6 down before that even started, before they even started getting kills in these rounds. The pistol was really lackluster. And again, you're a CT side. Building that economy is that much harder now. And this is a really interesting one. I don't know if I've ever caught a fish with no clothes on before, but...
Can we look at the fish's face, please, observers, if it's possible? When we're done this lovely little,
yeah, we're going to do this. It is a pause.
It is, yeah.
For HellRaisers, they decide how best they distribute their money into utility and actually have a very decisive play, a strategy. There has to be probably some sort of excuse if they can actually buy up...
Sorry, I found the fish.
Oh, you did?
You look so happy. It was great. Anyway, carry on. Excuse me.
No, I was sure. No, I don't really think I had too much value to really add. I was just going to say...
Chadwick.
Did I just hear that?
Chad's getting excited.
Yeah.
All right. You guys can't hear it because he's only doing it to talk back to us. But thank you, Chad, for your lovely input. If you want to come over here, we can probably get you a headset. There must be a spare headset here because there's 3 of the...
You can have mine, that's fine.
Chad, would you like to come over and do the impression?
Anyway, there's smokes here. There's enough for HellRaisers to do like some sort of setup here just to try and make Fnatic wait. I misspoke, of course. They're playing the CT side, so what they really want to do is just stall Fnatic and make them frustrated as possible. They're using a lot of this early on, though, injecting that utility towards a B platform to slow Fnatic down.
And specifically to slow people like Olofmeister who went for a run last time, and it looks like Fnatic aren't going to respect this at all. They're going straight through it, and this is one of the problems as to why Stico can just sit here happily, just mowing them down. No one can even trade into it. And Fnatic just kind of not caring enough to really check on that sort of stuff.
Bit disrespectful, bit Fnatic-esque. It's what we used to see. And there's Stico there as well, gets it done. I mean, and that's important for them because even after winning the round, some of them don't really have enough money to buy properly. We'll see what the play was here. I mean, this is pretty standard. JW actually took up this position multiple times, even with an AWP at the early stages of their CT-sided rounds, just in case this would happen. So this is textbook. This is nothing, you know, to the tune of reinventing the wheel. But HellRaisers just made good on it.
I say there's a chance, and you know that JW just get an ace with the shotgun. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point me saying these sort of things. And I want to see what he does here. But Olofmeister going back to what he likes to do, in between a rock and a hard place, but barely took any damage from that nade, actually, so he's all right.
Yeah, It's funny how they work in this game. It's really interesting. But I think if they increase the radius or increase the damage, can you imagine the reaction?
It's very hard. Let's keep eyes on JW here though, because it's hilarious. Didn't check the corner too deep.
Is it silent if you drop down on the pallet? No, it's not. You still hit it. Yeah.
No, you can. That's you'll always make noise going from like
drop on this
different verticalities, right? Oh, he's found a nice little angle. Didn't get the shot. I think he tagged him. No.
No.
Just the blood.
That was him. That was a sound of him getting dinked.
Yep.
Okay, Olaf. Now what? He considers drop. But that's about as far as it goes.
Walking away then as well. I think Bond just walked back out, but deadFox has already had the control over by platform here, pushing up towards it. Not too quickly, not too slowly, but this is going to be an A hit coming in. 3 players here unless they switch over very swiftly. And the problem is Sticker's in such a weird spot. He's on top of the barrel, if I'm not mistaken. You just don't expect people to be in these sort of things. It's hard for him to back away from it, but that's why Angel's there to support him. And Sticko turning for a flash. No, just turned around and got confused. And now Dennis 1v4, a little bit too many in his way. A few too many bodies to kind of stop him, but here we go. 8 rounds on the board. Money's still a little tight here for HellRaisers, but they can really fashion a buy together. And knowing that Fnatic are down pretty low on money here should be fine. They should be able to get whatever they need.
I think it's safe to say that the last couple of rounds, okay, maybe not the last round so much, the one prior, where Fnatic were on match point, probably should have won it out. A little bit sloppy from them. And this is just what happens. I mean, yeah, by rights should be 16-6, but HellRaisers have managed to take their opportunities to fight their way back in just by solid CT-sided play. I mean, you can't really factor in Sticko sitting there with the UMP and spraying 3 down, but it happens and it should happen if the enemy team don't respect you enough.
Oh, run, Angel, run. They are after you. There was only P250s up, but you always get a little bit worried when you're like, oh god, I've been crunched from every single angle, but it's all right in the end. Angel can go back to it. He's got mollies there. He's got support. And you can see Fnatic just running around as a squad, just trying to find maybe one player off guard that they can overwhelm and kind of isolate. But HellRaisers is well aware of what they're up against. Look how far back deadFox is playing. Doesn't even want to consider the idea of getting one-tapped by these pistols.
Yeah, passive play for deadFox. He's happy with this. Fnatic don't have utility, right? So that's the worst part about playing T-side on this map with nothing. You just really have to stand and face. Hope the contact play works. deadFox misses that second shot, but is able just to retreat and get a little bit of safety. Yeah. Flusher ambles towards the site, but he knows it's done by that point.
Yeah, 5 alive, keeping it clean. Money's starting to look better. It was, it was on that kind of border before where it's like, if they were on a buy, this could be a bit, uncomfortable. But it's fine now. They're in that good position, full utility, everything they need. AWP up on deadFox. And the other side, a little light for it. You don't have any mollies. You don't have anything here. So this could be like maybe a set piece coming from Fnatic just to try and make something happen. But again, you don't see that often. They just play for picks. And if they're not getting them, if they're running into a brick wall, it gets a little bit tough. But an aggressive mid take possibly. The early flash could have been an indicator of it, but maybe a little obvious to work instantly off the back of it. But a 4-1 play from HellRaisers might allow this opportunity, and deadFox doesn't land the shot. He has to back off the angle too, so he doesn't get the full information here. And it's allowed a player to slip up. That's Dennis. He can get a little bit ahead of the curve here.
Angel looking down towards Dennis at the moment, but doesn't actually know where he's going to be sitting. So Dennis is just hoping that Angel extends just a little bit more and get over towards him, but he's not falling for it. Though Dennis has done well to sneak himself up into this position. There's no way that Angel expects him to be here right now. Notice where he's looking. Straight down into the middle. Doesn't even allow for the possibility that a player could have gotten closer.
And a nice piece would be to kind of like try and toy with them at B, so it kind of forces people like Angel to maybe start to rotate or think about that sort of thing, and then Dennis gets the clear shot. But I don't know how much. I think it's Olaf Meister in to drop. I'm not 100% sure. Yes, it is. I don't know how much he can really sell. Oh, he's not even in drop. He's around the side holds. Excuse me. I don't know how much he can sell. But
he's just catching rotates, perhaps. Yeah,
this is going to be tough to take. You still got deadFox being very active on long. Dennis actively looking for Angel and just backed away at the right time there. So Dennis might not expect this, and it's who's quicker on the adjustment, and that's unfortunate for Dennis. A second earlier, and he would have probably caught him. And if anything, very lucky for Angel to be just backing away then and coming back to it at the perfect time. And JW now left with a tall task to hand, and he's got 27 seconds to make something happen. Bomb down along. He might just get the AWP and try and find a way out of here.
Yeah, it didn't have a smoke, so we couldn't really, safely go a smoke up connector and then head back towards the site. Hits the leg as well. Bondic and Zero, both low health, and that might actually be JW saying, no, I think I've had enough here. That one kill maybe would have given him the momentum to press forward. But I think now there's not really much to do. I don't mind this. Pushing the smoke, Bondic.
Nice.
Oh, he saw him. That's rough. Okay. Nice finish, bit of extra money as well. Now, we saw this situation last night, Lauren. in the Envious and Mousesports game. Mousesports obviously sitting on match point, and yeah, they lost a lot of rounds, but all you need to see is just something weird happen, right? Like a situation like, I don't know, Dennis going up the ladder, Six are not looking at him, he gets 3 kills on upper side and they win the round, right? And now you've got Fnatic, a team that can produce that kind of scenario, winning from behind or winning in situations you shouldn't, far more than any other. So HellRaisers have that much more pressure on them to stay solid.
The thing is, it never feels like there's a safe moment when you're watching Fnatic play these pistols. Even though, this should be a closeout for HellRaisers, at least, 11-15, and then work their way back in through the buys. You still feel a little worried on this. Nice little flash through, but Dead Fox is well aware. What? That looked so on, but he makes up with it for the follow-up shot, but he's now cut off from A for a couple of seconds. You still have one player out here, and that being Angel. But in the meantime, Bondic finding Olofmeister is a good addition here too. Flusher, though, taking an extended fight with Angel. He's going to win that one quite handily, actually. He's not on 6 HP, but considering, of course, these are the rounds that it happens on.
Is that you, Nazi? Hello? Roll him back the ears. Sticker going to run straight into Dennis yet again with a Tech 9. He is a monster with it. Eventually he's taken down, but this puts Bondic in a 1v2. Like I said, all Fnatic need is just a weird situation where they win and get frags they shouldn't, and here we are. Bomb down. Bondic now, of course, needs to check that back corner with a Molotov. Looks up, quick correction, finds the kill on a JW. Flusher is very low on health already as a Tech 9, so this is looking pretty good for Bondic. Oh, he's been seen! He doesn't even accept the possibility someone could be over towards Wood. He has so much more health. He didn't face, and that is going to be the game. Fnatic take the first map here, rather convincingly after dropping a few sloppy rounds, Lauren, but it is what it is.
Yeah, a highly tactical match from Fnatic there. I'm sure Chad can break down a million pieces from that game and maybe give us a couple of those lovely videos he does.
I'd love that.
So much to be seen in that aspect. No, good game all around. I just think the HellRaisers, if they maybe got themselves a little bit more of a buffer, they could have probably brought it back closer, but Fnatic with such a scoreline coming into that second half and then following up with that pistol, all just seemed to go their way.
Well, map 1 is down. It's time to head over to the desk to get their thoughts before we look towards our second map between these two. See you in a sec.
Yes, Fnatic do take map 1. Cbble goes their way, and they started on the CT side. We said maybe that they could get a little bit of aggression, little things going if they started T, but CT side was looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. They got those both pistols in the bag as well. Kick things off with a 7-1 scoreline on the CT side. Actually looked very promising from them. Problem is for HellRaisers, like we said, if they don't get rolling in terms of their money, they struggle throughout. I think Dead Fox only had the AWP in the first half once overall. It's not a big deal on the T side, but obviously that's quite a strong string to their bow. Didn't really come out at all there. And Fnatic just kept resetting their money. There was a spell of 4 rounds. All the rounds before that were very closely contested. As soon as HellRaisers broke through, they managed to get 4 in a row.
Yeah.
But then losing both pistols there, going into the second half, seems like another 5-0 situation. And although HellRaisers came back a little bit there, it just felt like they didn't really have enough. And of course, in true Fnatic fashion.
Yeah, the pistols.
Tech 9 to finish
the
it
jumping
off.
Glock burst fire headshots.
That's the way.
Something interesting to look at here was the way that Fnatic were addressing their CT side. They've moved everybody around.
They have.
Used to be JW and Flusher over towards that A-bomb site. Now they've mixed it up. They've got Crims, JW, and Flusher on B, Olof and Dennis at A. And it worked quite well.
They've done that on a lot of maps.
Yeah, they've moved Crims to the A-bomb site on Cage,
Inferno,
for example.
and Inferno as well.
Oh, yeah. So I think, that's a good change because players get known. These players, especially for being so good at certain positions, and this is why they're so good individually, is because they play those spots better than anybody else in the world without necessarily needing all the teamwork the other teams have. You eventually get cottoned onto. You throw this smoke, this is where he moves to. If this execute comes in, this is how he plays it. And it's hard to keep reinventing the wheel. You can only look at it through your own glasses. So when you move people around the map, you get like a fresh sense of relearning things, looking at new ways to approach it, and you can just be as dominant there, which is what we saw with this CT display.
Yeah, there's quite a key example of that kind of particular scenario. If you think about Taz and Virtus Pro playing inside on Train, for so long he was known as one of the best players in that particular area. But then as time went on, people started to download it and work out how to actually counter that. So he moved him away for about 3 or 4 months, and then when the time felt right, move him back in. He's got some new ideas and kind of mixes things up. So it makes a lot of sense to kind of revitalize the map and kind of keep things fresh, and obviously seems to be working very well for them.
To build on that, for people playing at home in your teams, or even for these guys, playing things like ESEA and Rank S and all that kind of stuff, or Rank G, whatever you're playing, you learn from other players that you get to play with. So that's why these guys play these pickup games themselves, because you learn from other players. You get to, try different things yourself. You don't actually have to do it in like your practice scrims or in officials and things like that. And that's a good way to help learn and build your portfolio of how to play Counter-Strike, basically.
Do we learn anything? One of the storylines that we had at Starlight coming out was, Duncan harped on the fact that Gambit is one of the first teams that started to make CT side of Cbble you know, that being the stronger side. Like they're getting the runs on the CT side. Are we kind of, do you guys subscribe to that at all? Like the Cobble's a little slowly turning a little bit more CT sided? Because it was one of the few maps that we could say was T sided.
It was until the addition of the steps area and the B-bomb side. It took about a month or so, but as soon as that came in, it started to balance out. It wasn't such a T-sided affair. It's certainly getting to the point now where it's more difficult. You have to rely more on tactical executions that is walking into the B side. If you're lacking in that department, then maybe you'll have a rough time on the T side. So yeah, I definitely understand his point. That I wouldn't say it's getting CT sided. It depends on the matchup and what kind of play styles going up against each other. Right. But it needs more tactical prowess now instead of just walking in. So yeah, I guess in that sense, in some matchups, it potentially could be CT sided.
Also, teams now have dealt with B executes for such a long period of time now that they know how to react. They've got their protocols. They've all talked the theory side of Counter-Strike. When these smokes come in, do we play in front of them? What kind of flushes are we going to use? How are we going to deal with it? Yeah. Those things help. I think we saw a lot of rounds in this where HellRaisers were able to take the bomb site, but Fnatic were potentially just out-skilling them on the retakes, you know, coming in winning situations that were probably 50-50 at the time, but the skill of Fnatic shone through in this scenario. In terms of generally, I don't know, I think it's still probably one of the most balanced maps we have.
Nice. I know you're a big fan of Cbble.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, we're going to move on to map 2. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, it's going to be Cash, one of the few times we've seen it this season, so stay tuned. HellRaisers Fnatic.
Cash.